Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
When we talk about another round of behaviors that can be used that feel like care but actually aren't, or feel like cohesion but actually are corrosive, we can talk about the idea of approval. Now, you may not know this, but you are carrying around with you a infinite bag of gold stars, and lots of folks are looking to get you to give them a gold star for whatever, right? Sometimes that gold star they're looking for is approval of their good behavior. Sometimes it's agreement with their, conspiracy theory of the day. Whatever it is, they have a saying for this at the zoo. There's a sign, and the sign says, "Don't feed the animals." Now, here's where this gets weird, right? You see the sign that says "Don't feed the animals," but the animals look hungry. And why shouldn't we feed hungry animals? Well, the reality with don't feed the animals at the zoo is that if you feed the animals at the zoo, they stop eating the food they're used to, and the stuff you're giving them probably is really, really tasty, but not very good for them. And you're teaching them not to be animals. You're teaching them to perform for food. Now apply this to your best friend who's complaining about the latest sort of government conspiracy holding him back, or the latest, problem at work keeping him down. And all of a sudden you've got the same recipe for failure. You've got someone who's looking for approval, and you, by giving it, essentially further entrench bad thinking, bad behavior, bad emotional content. Now, this has a chance to get really, really heavy, and we're going to leave some of that off the table for now because we've talked about a little bit yesterday when it comes to supporting things like substance abuse or stuff like that. But when you're providing that approval for even light stuff, where somebody can essentially take and run to ground, avoid a conflict, avoid a situation because they have a belief that's based on an inaccuracy. It's kind of like the opposite of what we talked about in the beginning with day one, where you're correcting to be correct as opposed to correcting because it's not right. And it's important to understand why it's not right. By allowing people to kind of continue running with certain delusions about the way they behave or the way they believe the world to be, you are essentially enabling their stuck, which oftentimes feels like commiseration. It feels like kind of getting on the same side of the table as somebody else, and it even feels like closeness, but in fact, it is feeding the wrong thing. So how do you not feed the animals? This is tough. And we're going to get into a lot more on this tomorrow. But for today, I want you to think about the role of conflict in care. Can you spread the cement of brotherly love in a productive conflict? This takes some finesse. It's not the easiest thing to do. But when you tell someone about themselves, about what they're doing or saying or believing, that is holding them back and causing their suffering, with care, with kindness, helping them see the thing they couldn't see before, for as uncomfortable as that is care. By avoiding the conflict and allowing the kind of, sort of madness to continue, whatever that might be, you are avoiding this whole shebang. And in the process, the person that you're trying to care for is getting further entrenched in their peril, whatever that might be. So don't hand out gold stars for folks looking to use them to stay stuck. And if you can't tell what that looks like, just remember, don't feed the animals. We'll talk more tomorrow.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.